What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another brand new episode of the Trifecta. Guys, honestly, I just have one question for the audience, actually. It's Saturday. What are you doing with your lives if you're not tuned into the Trifecta right now? Tyrone, tell me, how you guys doing today?
Doing good in the turtleneck, fast man.
No, we always doing good here on a Saturday. It's Trifecta time. We're getting it going.
Absolutely. So, today is a little bit, I want to say more of a sad episode because, COVID's kind of running rampant in the NFL right now. I personally had to go to Twitter and ask how to donate a negative COVID result for Cam Newton. But unfortunately, I don't think that's a possibility.
I immediately thought of you when I saw that. When I saw it was Cam, I was like, "Oh no, Jared!"
Yeah, no, I was so upset. But no, I mean,
only because he's my starting quarterback now, and now I have to put in Matty Ice back in.
The worst. I mean, he's a choke artist, so it's fine. But he'll get you fantasy points.
His coach is a choke artist.
I'm not gonna lie though. I put in Cam only for 1 week, and he was tragic. Like, he was just trash that game. So I've never gotten the 33-point Cam Newton game yet.
I got two of them. I got two of them in one of my leagues. Anyway, so I mean, between the Pats and the Kansas City Chiefs, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Tennessee Titans, and now the Bears game I know the Bears game got delayed. Is it due to COVID as well?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm not sure who's sick,
it's due. It's due to because the Patriots game was supposed to be at 4:25, and so since that game got postponed, they moved the Colts game into the Colts Bears game into that spot.
Okay.
Time football, baby.
It's about as good as the Bears can get this year.
Yeah, right.
Hey man, we're 3-0.
Yeah, we were 0-3, and we had a Thursday night game, baby.
Hey, so whoever's making the Thursday night football schedule,
number one,
they're trash, bro. Like last year, the Thursday night football schedule was actually pretty good. Now it's just like all of the low tier teams that are so boring to watch, including the Broncos.
Okay.
Bro, we put up 37 points. What are you? I don't care if they're playing a college team.
I was surprised that game was so high scoring.
Brett Ripien, my dude, he's the future.
Okay, to be fair, 7 of those points were after y'all had already won. But how did you almost lose to the Jets? You guys were literally behind.
Yeah, the Cowboys were literally behind to the Falcons, and they won. The Broncos were literally behind to the Jets, and they won.
The Jets.
I think the great Tyrone Stallworth once said, "That's why the game is played over 60 minutes." 60 minutes, man. We could be down 3-0. We could be down 21-0. But you know what happened? The Broncos won. And let me tell you something right here, Jared. Next week on the schedule, I see a Broncos-Patriots matchup, and I'm hearing that Drew Lock has a good chance of playing. If Drew Lock plays, I want to make another friendly wager on the Broncos winning.
Sure.
Just
a
little teaser for next week here. Just keep an eye out on the Broncos, because I mean, of course you are. Why aren't you? Just Drew, if he plays, it's going to be a 2-3 start, and we're coming back.
Whoa. Oh, okay. Okay. Sure. I mean, hey, do you, buddy?
That's even if the games get played, though, man. COVID, they might catch the dub at the end of the day. Not gonna lie.
No, Tyrone has a point right there. And I mean, we're seeing games already starting to get rescheduled and pushed back to later in the season. And I mean, I'm starting to think maybe is it just worth it to, I don't want to say cancel the season, because obviously that'd be tragic. You're already 4 weeks in, but I think it's time to start really considering that possibility of canceling the season because, how many – I believe it was 8 staff members and 8 players from the Titans that all tested positive.
That's crazy.
There were positive tests in Kansas on the Kansas City team. I don't know if it was personnel or players or whatever.
It was backup quarterback Jordan Teamu. Was the one guy that I know who got it.
Okay, so he was. So I was actually a Battlehawks fan with the XFL, and I
Heck
loved Jordan
yeah.
Campbell. So um, that's crazy that he has it. Two quarterbacks that I like. God damn. But no, and then Cam. I know they tested the coaches and players that were closest to him recently for the Pats, and they all tested negative. But I think they're still doing more tests, obviously, to see if anybody else has it for the Patriots. I mean, I don't even think this game is getting played on either Monday or Tuesday, kind of like people are saying. The game is supposed to be either Monday or Tuesday, whatever. But I think they really just put that as like a placeholder time. So if they do more tests and it comes back more players are positive, I think it's going to get rescheduled like the Steelers and Tennessee game.
Man, that's tragic, bro. Because like on all of my fantasy teams, my people are either hurt or sick. Like I played Tommy in the Black Sports Page League. I don't know why I sat down Judy and he has 14 points, but now I have to wait on, James White PPD. I gotta wait to see if that game gets played or, put in Kerryon Johnson. I have no other choice. Like Michael Thomas is out, Mike Williams is out. It's like Philip Lindsay out. I don't know what to do, man. Like
That's just what happens when you run into a freight train like me, man. I'm telling you. I told you to start Judy, and you didn't. I told you to start him every single week, and he had his first touchdown. He mossed the dude, and
man,
you didn't start him, and you ran into a freight train that's named the Young Tom Train, and
the
here
young
we are, the Young Tom Train.
But guys, real quick, who's still in first place in that league?
Hey, don't worry, man. We play each other in a week.
Me.
We
It's
play
me.
each other in a little bit. Don't worry.
Yeah, and I'll be 5-0 when that game. After that game,
Nah, don't worry.
no. But no, this COVID stuff is really starting. So like, I feel like the NFL, with the way it is, could somehow manage to do a bubble of sort.
I don't think so, bro.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. It's the NFL is like what 52 a roster,
53. Yeah, 53-man roster.
3-man roster, like 30 teams, 53 times 30. I don't know. A facility can hold that many people. It's like
Well, I don't think it would be one facility, right? Like I'm sure it would be a couple, but you could also trim the rosters down. Like you could
MetLife Stadium already trimmed down half the roster in the NFL already. Like I don't know.
For a second there, I had to realize what you were saying, and I got it. That was good. That was good. You're not wrong. You're very not wrong. It's going to lead into my hot take here later. That's a hint, hint.
Not,
intent, he says. But no, like so if you guys are the NFL, what do you guys do here? What does the league do going forward?
If I were the NFL, I look at how the other leagues are handling this. Obviously, you cannot copy what the NHL and NBA did. They had bubbles. But you can look at what the MLB has done. They have done a fantastic job when no one thought that they would make it to the playoffs. We're now going into the division series starting on Monday. And they've kept everybody. Obviously, Miami had some hiccups. St. Louis Cardinals had some hiccups. But they made it. We got to the playoffs. Everything was fine. They got a full schedule in. You have to realize what is wrong, which is, you need to find a way to contain these players and contain these personnel. You don't need all the personnel at the games, but you do need the players, okay? And especially when it's a guy like Cam Newton. We don't know the players for the Titans, but I'm sure it was somebody major, maybe a Jonnu Smith or a Derrick Henry. You have to find a way to contain these players. This has to be the end of it. You have to, obviously you cannot control what's going on in the world with COVID, but you have to take every measure that is possible to eliminate this factor of COVID hitting another team. Because once you start getting into the later parts of the season, if we get to week 7, week 8, when most of the teams have gone through their byes, you're not going to be able to reschedule these games. I know the NFL has the hotels booked in Tampa for the Super Bowl past a month. So an extra month books just in case they'd have to move the Super Bowl, because I'm pretty sure they're under the knowledge that there's not going to be a lot of fans, if any, at the Super Bowl. So that gives them extra room to move that. But you have to find a way to just not have this happen again. You cannot have an outbreak to where you're constantly rescheduling games every week. This is a one-time thing here. Hopefully, we get on to next week and there's no other cases, but they have to. I think they can make it work if they follow what the MLB has done. And, that's obviously something that us as normal fans don't really know. We don't know the whole ins and outs of what happened in the clubhouses and how they, transitioned the players from, the cities and all that stuff. But this has to be stopped at this week if they're going to finish the season.
Ty, what do you think?
I totally agree. Like, you can't have, COVID be a continuing issue every week, right? Not only for, the actual games, but do you realize how much money is put on the line on fantasy football every year, right? And you have people shuffling their rosters, scrambling at the last second just to put anybody in their roster so they can play. And not all teams are being affected. So it's like at some point, it's not a fair game anymore, right? But like Tommy said, they might want to pick up the phone and call the commissioner for MLB to see what they did, because not every football team is going to be able to fit in Disneyland, right? So I don't know. Either they make a decision to even take a break, like have an incubation period for the virus itself. Like say, all right, let's take 14 to 40 days to just get everybody back healthy, restart and run up again. But I don't think that's viable either, because players are already getting hurt because they didn't have an off season. If you put them on the couch for a month, it's going to be bad again. Like people are going to just be decimated with injuries. They might have to end the season. I'm not going to lie. For a lot of teams, they would love that. Like the teams like the 49ers, the Broncos, even like they don't have any starters. The Saints are not playing with 6 starters next week, and they're all in the secondary. So, it's like they kind of just got to pick up anybody to play. I don't know, man. I might get back in shape. Try to play. I don't know.
Go be a walk-on.
At least try to make the roster for the water boy position or something. I don't know.
Put us all on the field, man. Let me go catch some passes.
Ty can play left bench.
Man, left bench would be great, bro.
Hey, but you're in the stadium, so you're getting paid something, man.
Yeah, right.
Like, I'm not trying to get hit.
Positives and negatives, baby. That's what we're talking about here. You got to look at both sides.
For real.
So we do have a comment from Wayne Rivera. If the Jets go winless even in a short season, they should get the first pick next season.
Only for them to mess it up.
It doesn't matter, bro. Their coaching situation is trash.
Oh, my God. It's awful.
I said by week 5. One more week, Adam Gase is gone. Just watch it. Next week they lose, he's gone.
There was a report that said they're going to stick with him through the end of the season.
I don't believe that, and 2, Trevor Lawrence is about to pull an Eli Manning and say, I'm not coming or something. He's going to be like Elway or something. There's no way, man. No, I wouldn't want to go there.
If I'm Trevor Lawrence and the Jets have the first pick, I am staying in Clemson.
The Jets play the Cardinals next week. That's a fat L.
Yeah.
So, boom. Just get it over with. Just let them go, man. Honestly, the way I heard somebody talk about this, bring in one of these coaches, these college coaches. This is a lost year for the Jets. They're 0-4. They're not going to do anything. Bring in one of these college coaches whose season is cut short. Maybe they're playing a shortened season, and let them coach. Just this, trial period with the knowledge that they will go back to their team in the spring whenever football starts back up again. I actually kind of dig that idea, because you're not really going to pay a coach that much, and you get to see a whole new offense. We see a lot of these new offenses, in Big Sky country or in Pac-12. even in the SEC. Let one of them come run it. Obviously, you can't get SEC and Pac-12, but let one of these coaches come in and just have fun. Because I know me and you were talking about it, Jared. I like Sam Darnold. I think he can play. I think he showed flashes of that. I mean, that 46-yard run he had against Denver was nice. Oh, come on, man. You can't tell me that Adam Gase has done anything but hurt his career. The one thing that Adam Gase has on his resume is that he helped Peyton Manning get, look good in Denver.
Listen, I understand what you're saying about Sam Darnold, and I completely agree that Adam Gase is wasting his career. But I just don't think Sam Darnold is good. I don't have faith in him. I mean, look at quarterbacks like Baker Mayfield and Josh Allen comparably from the same draft, right? And obviously, like, you can attribute it to coaching staff and stuff like that, but just talent-wise, decision-making, they're just leaps and bounds better. And Sam Darnold might be the most talented football player in the world, but his decision-making is pretty terrible. And I think that has a lot to do with it, though.
That's fair. I definitely think one of his things coming out of USC was he was very, especially his senior season, he was very turnover prone. And that was something that he needed to fix. But when you look at it, can you name me one dude on that offensive line? Can you name me a receiver that's not named Jamison Crowder on that team? Like, he's got nobody. I mean, I like Jamison Crowder. He's an 800,000-yard receiver every year. But he shouldn't be anything more than year 2. It may be 3. He's good when he needs to be, but he's got nobody. I mean, I don't even know anybody on his offensive line. He's got a washed up Frank Gore. Le'Veon Bell's hurt, and he has not looked the same like he did in Pittsburgh when he has played. I mean, I agree with you. I think his decision making is poor at some points, but dude, if he was on a different team, I just think he'd look so much better.
Yeah, I kind of agree with Tommy on this one. I was going to add that who's playing for him on offense? It's literally I forgot his name already. That's crazy that happens to me every week. Sam Darnold and Frank Gore show. Jamison Crowder, like, that's the big 3 on their offense. Like, really?
It's not good.
Really?
It's not good, man.
No.
It's bad. Like, they traded away Robbie Anderson, and that was, clearly Darnold's favorite target. Not saying that, he's an all-world talent, but can't get rid of the guy's favorite target and not bring in anybody. You feel me? And also, as a message to the Jets, let Le'Veon Bell go. Let us enjoy the rest of his career with a team that's going to get him the ball. Man.
Yeah, that organization, I have words for that organization that probably aren't appropriate to say on air, so I'm going to just leave it at that. But no, back to the whole COVID thing, I really think kind of like both what you guys were saying is, and Tommy, more so to your point, you were talking about how the MLB kind of made it through the season. I think what needs to happen, and this kind of attributes to Ty's point, is you take the 4 teams right now that have been affected, Pittsburgh, Tennessee, the Chiefs, and the Patriots, and quarantine them for 2 weeks, right? You say anybody who tests positive, quarantine. Other players on the team who have not tested positive can go to work out, do whatever, do practice, and then just postpone those 2 games, right? You postpone those 2 games until later in the season, and unless another team has a breakout, that should, in theory, kind of eliminate it. You know what I'm saying? You take those 4 teams, you quarantine them, you quarantine the players for 14 days that have tested positive. You take, like I said, the rest of the players and coaches that haven't tested positive, and they can return to practice. You give them 2 weeks off from no games, and I think, like Ty said, sitting on the couch, obviously it's going to make people injury prone. It's going to hurt them in the long run, but at the same time, I mean, if you don't do that, I think it kind of hurts them going forward. So what happens if come Monday, right, the Pats and the Chiefs do play, and somebody tested positive the night before or whatever, and it didn't come out, and someone else gets infected, and now the Chiefs go and play whoever the following week, so on and so forth. So, I mean, it's just I think the smartest thing to do is like to your idea. You call the MLB and you say, look, how did you guys pull this off? You pause that team season until there's no more positive tests. And then you let them go back to normal, reschedule those games, right? And in the NFL, it should only, in theory, be 1 or 2 games tops, and not 5, 6, and 7 like in baseball.
Yeah.
So I think it's a little bit easier.
I kind of agree with that. I think that's something that they can do. And if you look at the 4 teams, Tennessee, Minnesota, Kansas City, and New England, 3 of those teams, I mean, the word's still kind of out on Minnesota. They looked like crap the first 2 games, but they played pretty well. They actually got the ball to Justin Jefferson this past week and let him play. So, I mean, we'll see. But 3 of those teams are playoff teams. So if you had to pause their season, I think the way the MLB did it was, the Cardinals only played 58 games out of the 60. Those 2 games that they didn't play, they would have played if it affected tie-breaking scenarios. So if you have to push them back 2 weeks, okay, the Chiefs, Patriots, and Titans are probably going to be 3 of the 7 teams in the AFC. So if you had to push those back, whatever, if they end up playing 14 games, okay, that's fine. But if it gets to the point where, they're coming down to the wire and, maybe a team like Pittsburgh or Jacksonville's looked pretty good this year, they're kind of creeping up and they're just right there with, hey, what are you looking at me for? They're 2-1, or they're 1-2.
Jacksonville.
They look good.
Looking good.
They had 1 bad game against Miami. They almost beat Tennessee. I'm telling you, man, you're sleeping on Gardner Minshew. Whatever, man. Okay,
Minshew-mania up in here.
Exactly, man. I'm gonna shave my mustache into his or something like that.
Wake me up when you're done, bro.
Tommy, you will not come on the air next week with a Gardner Minshew mustache. You won't do it.
Is there monetary value to this? Because I can grow this back in like 4 days.
Well, we could talk about that separately, but I just don't think you would do it.
You bet. I will do it right here.
Hilarious.
Actually, he's going to come on the show and shave for us just to show us after.
Yeah, exactly. I can only shave looking through the camera, so I got to get it all the right way. No mirrors, just through the camera.
That would be terrifying.
I honestly don't even remember what we were saying. Now it's turned into me having to shave my beard and do it just a mustache.
Being a good team.
Okay, Okay, yes, that's right. What I was saying was, if it comes down to where these teams are close, they're battling for a final playoff spot. Obviously, okay, Tennessee, that's the worst of the 3 teams. If they're battling for a final playoff spot, then you can play those final 2 games. What are you talking about, Ty? Come on, against New England and Kansas City, you think?
Hey, I'm not gonna lie. I thought you were adding Jacksonville to the mix. I'm like, they are not worse than Jacksonville. But anyway,
I mean, they almost lost to them, so.
Every dog has his day. We see that with the Broncos, man.
Yeah, we'll see with the Bears tomorrow, man. Nick Foles is gonna throw like 2 interceptions, probably.
Never.
They're gonna replace him with Trubisky.
Again.
Yeah, again. The Trubisky experiment is back on.
I'm not gonna lie. If that happens, I might have to just go up to Soldier Field and fire everybody myself.
Ty's gonna. You gotta do like a POV of knocking on Matt Nagy's door.
You're fired.
You're fired.
I'm taking over your job now. Fired.
I'm taking over.
Ty's not contractually obligated to be on the Trifecta anymore because he's got to coach the game.
Man, install the Madden 21 playbook.
Run and gun, baby.
Oh my God.
Bringing back the Wildcat.
Man.
Wait, Ty, are you trading Allen Robinson if you become the coach?
Oh no, Allen Robinson's the only one that can. Well, nah, but Allen Robinson is my number 1 wide receiver. Why would I trade him?
Because you get picks and you go for rebuild.
Nah, bro. We're gonna make it with the roster we have today.
Mm-hmm.
I can't
over. Okay, real quick.
Like we're like two years removed from a playoff. Like, come on, man. We're not that bad. Like everybody likes to hate on the Bears, but we're 3-0, bro.
Okay,
shouldn't be
Tommy,
though.
Tommy,
shouldn't be.
Real quick. Ty keeps hyping up the Bears that they're 3-0 right now. Over or under, how many more games do they win? I say 3 more games is all they win.
I gotta look at their schedule.
Bro, I
but
would take that bet without looking at the schedule.
I think even if their offense, like if they switched off Nick Foles and Trubisky, I don't see them winning at least 8. Like they gotta go 8-8.
They gotta go at least 8-8, bro. Who are they gonna play every week? The Kansas City Chiefs? Nah, bro. They're gonna beat the Colts.
No, they're not.
I don't think they're beating the Colts.
The Colts, the best part of the Colts game is their running offense, bro.
Jonathan Taylor, and I got flack for taking him in the fantasy football league.
The Bears defense are this bend don't break, bro. Bend don't break.
The Bears are not Matt Patricia.
What? What does that mean?
That was like the whole thing in New England for the longest time, where like when Matt Patricia was the defensive coordinator, it was like bend don't break defense, guys, and everyone's just like, please, this is terrifying. Stop it.
That was Ty's impression of Stephen A. Smith. What?
What? Run that back. I can't believe you're saying they're gonna win 6 games, bro.
Yeah, I don't agree with that one. I'll take the over on that one.
Yeah, bro. That's worse than the
I'm gonna pull up their schedule in another tab here and get back to you.
Let's do that.
Let's do that right now, bro. What?
I'm on it. Let me go through these.
So granted,
Right.
like I don't know their schedule either. So
Nah.
The Colts tomorrow.
You said,
Colts taking that win.
I don't care. You
Carl.
said
Then they play the Bucks.
that might be
Then they play the Panthers. That's a win.
Hey, it's a dub against the Colts, a dub against the Panthers.
It's not a dub against the Colts.
That's a dub
The
against
Rams.
They
The
lose to the Rams.
Saints.
They lose to the Saints.
The Titans.
They went. They beat the Titans, bro.
Yeah, they can beat the Titans. The
beat
Vikings,
the
I think they
Vikings.
take one of the Vikings. The Packers,
Again.
the Lions. They get one of the Lions.
Bro, we could beat the Texans, bro. I don't care. We could beat the Texans.
And then they play the Jaguars. So that's at least 5 wins right there, man.
Come on, bro. Come
No
on.
way they win in only 6 games.
Come on, bro.
Unless they're throwing the punter out there at quarterback.
That's disrespectful, my God.
We shall see.
Matter of fact, if they win more than 6 games, you gotta wear a Trubisky jersey next year, bro. I don't care what you're saying.
If you buy it for me, I will.
I'm never buying a Trubisky jersey. That's my hard-earned cash, never.
Would you buy a Chinese Trubisky jersey?
No, I'd really just rather burn my money on camera.
It's only $25 plus shipping and handling.
Yeah, man, that was disrespectful, Jared. I can't believe that, man. I thought we was friends, bro.
Listen, Ty. I do have to apologize. I mean, we bust on Tommy for liking the Broncos. It was about time someone busted on you for the Bears.
Hey, I think the Bears are way better than the Broncos, bro.
Oh, no doubt.
That's not true. That's not true.
The
How many
Broncos
Super Bowls have you guys won in like the last 5 decades? What's the answer?
The Broncos haven't been good since
that-
2015.
We won one, but I'm not gonna lie. Rex Grossman kind of choked the last one for us. So
How many Super Bowls have you won in your lifetime? And I've seen 2. We got stomped in one and we've won another, so that's all that matters.
hey, man, I ain't trying to hit.
See, I wish you could use that argument against me, but you know,
Yeah, because you're a Patriots fan. Blah, blah, blah.
it happens.
Cam Newton, he's going to get bodied by Bradley Chubb next week. Bodied.
No.
You already got.
That's assuming the
sacks.
game again doesn't get postponed with COVID and stuff. But nah, I think Cam would run all over that Broncos defense.
No.
They kind of disappointed me this week. I picked them up off waivers. I'm like, yeah, they're playing the Jets.
Yeah, because I dropped them.
28 points, man. What?
That's your problem, man. I'm sorry.
Tommy's like, I don't even have faith in my own defense.
Yeah, I wouldn't have started him, man. I dropped him for a reason.
I'm like,
What you talking about?
Can't get any easier than this. They have 2 people they can rely on.
That's what I thought.
Yeah,
that's what I thought. He says. Tommy's like, single tear just starts rolling down his cheek. I miss you, Drew Lock.
50-50 chance he comes back next week, and I honestly can't tell you how excited I was just to read a report that said he might be healthy. Just for him to get hurt again, probably. Brett Rypien's the future, baby. He's 1-0.
He's 1-0. Yeah. He is the new franchise quarterback for the Broncos.
Yet he has more picks than touchdowns.
Man, Tim Tebow won a game with 2 passes out of 7, so that's all that matters. A win's a win. I don't care who we playing. A win's a win.
That's crazy. That's a crazy set, man.
He beat the Chiefs.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they probably weren't the Chiefs of today.
No, they weren't the Chiefs that day.
Those were the Jamal Charles Chiefs.
Jesus. Well, now we got to do our predictions, because I know that's what we're talking about. We've been doing the whole NFL thing. We got to do our predictions for the awards.
No, we do. So, Ty, you start. Who's winning MVP this year?
All right, so MVP.
Because Ty and I are on the same wavelength on this one.
Oh, yeah, MVP, you got to let Russ cook, man. He cooking up spicy. You feel me? So I think he's going to win MVP. As far as the rushing title goes, I don't know. Tommy's saying that Derrick Henry's sick, so.
Oh, no. I'm not breaking that news story. No way. I just said it could be a big name player. Like, whoa here. I'm not trying to get quoted on ESPN or something.
For the rushing title, I think it's going to have to go to Zeke, man. Yeah, Zeke is eating.
No way.
No? Who's going to win? No. Don't say Joe Mixon.
No, I'm saying Alvin Kamara.
The only reason why I don't say Alvin Kamara is because most of his yards come from passing. You feel me?
Don't say Joe Mixon.
So I don't know, pure rushing, handoff, football in the belly. I think it's going to be Zeke because Kamara gets most of his stuff in the flat, bro. Not gonna lie.
I still think it's going to be Kamara.
As long as you.
Tommy, who's your MVP and rushing pick?
My MVP. See, I want to pick. No, I want to pick somebody that's obviously Russ is the favorite right now, but I think I'm gonna say Mahomes. I think it is his to lose, and I think he showed up. Obviously, he didn't win it last year, but he showed up on Monday night and just decimated the Ravens. That game wasn't even close.
Yeah, it wasn't close at all.
I think Russ is gonna continue to cook, but if we start seeing some Patrick Mahomes 400-yard, 5-touchdown games that we saw the last 2 years, he might make it a race. So if I was being a betting man, I'd probably pick Russell, but if I wanted to take a kind of shot in the dark, I'd take Mahomes here.
Now, who do you have for your rushing award?
Aaron Jones.
Okay.
Second in the league in rushing yards. He's been dominating. He definitely I'm sorry, Ty. I know you don't like the Packers, but he definitely brings. I mean, we're seeing Rodgers cook this year. Rodgers is absolutely killing it, and he brings a different dynamic to that offense. There's a lot of talk last year about the Packers being the worst 13-3 team in NFL history. I don't know how that is even a sentence, because if you win 13 games, you're pretty damn good.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Aaron Jones it's been lights out this year, and I don't see him stopping anytime soon. So, with all the injuries, I have to go with Aaron Jones.
Before you go, Jared, total brain fart on my part. Zeke's not gonna win the rushing record. It's gonna be Nick Chubb.
Melvin Gordon.
Melvin Gordon.
Hey, he's 5th in the league in rushing yards.
That's crazy, bro. Because I have.
I'll be real. I'm glad Melvin Gordon is proving himself again. Everyone was skeptical when he went to the Broncos. Everyone was skeptical with the whole thing with how he left things with the Chargers, wanting to sit out, getting injured, stuff like that. And now, he's playing fantastic ball. I got to give him credit. So I do like Melvin Gordon. But Who would? Okay, I want Tommy to answer this question because I have a feeling I know who he's going to say. But who is your offensive rookie of the year?
What kind of a question is that? Joe Burrow, are you kidding me? If he stays healthy this whole year, which is honestly a big maybe with the amount of hits he's taken, I mean, Burrow's playing lights out. I don't know of anybody who's really having as good of a season from a rookie standpoint. Obviously, Jerry Judy's having a really good season, but I mean, it's Burrow's to lose. Honestly, it really is. I just don't see anybody who can beat him.
No, I agree with that. I really thought you were going to say Jerry Judy. So
You know who's having a good year from a rookie? CD Lamb. He's pretty decent.
Yeah, definitely. I think there's so many guys out there that are just not giving as much play time, and that's probably because of COVID. You know, they didn't have the preseason to earn that spot, and you couldn't really learn the offense. You're learning the offense over Zoom calls, so I don't know. I think next year, will be different, and we'll get to see a lot of these players like Justin Jefferson. I mean, look, it took him 3 weeks to get going, and he was their number 2 receiver. Like, the dude can ball out of LSU. And so I just think when you look at what Joe Burrow has done, and I've raved about him on basically every episode that we've had here. I mean, his ball placement is incredible, and the velocity that he makes, he can escape out of the pocket. If he can just not take hits from his awful offensive line and stay healthy, I just don't see anybody coming up and beating him.
I have a hot take.
Oh,
If Burrow wins 2 games this year, Clyde Edwards-Helaire is going to win the offensive rookie of the year.
that's actually not a bad. That's not even really a hot take. Like, he's been playing lights out since week 1. So
he's like getting 2 yards a game, bro.
That's that's not. I wouldn't even call that a hot take. I mean, I think that's just a valid pick overall.
Lukewarm.
That's a lukewarm take.
It's on the it's barely above mild sauce at B-Dubs. It's just a little bit higher.
It's like the sweet barbecue sauce instead of the mild.
Spicy garlic.
Yes. Oh, that sounds good right now, dude.
Oh, God.
Honestly, from a I have to just explain this because I thought it was hilarious. I had, and this is off note, I had a Thai food for the first time yesterday. And man, that stuff is hot, bro. Like, it hurt my stomach. I felt like my beard hair was singeing. I'm sorry, we were talking about hot food and man, I'll tell you what. I told you, I say stupid stuff, but man, that was the worst experience I've ever had, eating and later in the day. It was bad, bro.
My God.
Sorry, we're back on topic now, but I just had to say that. Off Topic featuring Randy Zelia. Go check it out.
Shout out Randy in case you're watching.
You always got to throw in the plugs, man. We got one later for all of our viewers. Just don't worry. We got a good plug coming here later from the mind of Tommy.
Okay.
I lost my train of thought. I don't even remember what we were talking about.
Thai food.
What were we talking about, Ty?
Awards. Rookie of the year.
Yes, that's right. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, as they like to make sure that everybody knows. No, I could see it. For me, it would be between him and Joe Burrow. Obviously, for me, comeback player of the year, I'm gonna say Cam Newton, assuming he stays healthy, especially given what going on with COVID and everything. But I mean, he's been playing very good football for the past 3 weeks. A lot of people counted him out, were saying that he's terrible and whatever, and people just weren't factoring in injuries, which I feel like is a big thing. I feel like if you're not factoring in injuries, then you're not really giving a player their due justice. So, a comeback player for me right now, if I had to pick, would be Cam.
I agree.
I actually have a different take.
Oh, of course you do.
Hey, we got to be different here on the show. No, I agree with you. If we're looking at a player standpoint, Cam has been amazing. And, I've said how many times, especially over the past few weeks, he's proven me wrong. I still want to see him, get through the season, but he's played lights out, and maybe that's all he needed was a different system, have a different offensive coordinator who can let him, not always throw the ball deep, dink and dunk and mix in some play action and really help those completion numbers get up and help him complete the throws that he showed that he could make in his, MVP season and at his time at Auburn. But from a non-player standpoint, if they wanted to do this, I think giving the award to Alex Smith would be an amazing thing. I mean, what he's dealt with to even be on an active roster in Washington is incredible. So, I agree with you. I do think Cam Newton should make it, but for Alex Smith to even be where he's at and to even, he might be able to play next year. We might see Washington let him loose of this contract and, he goes to a different team. But for him to even, be a part of an NFL team here and still be practicing and all that is beyond incredible to me. So that's who I would give it to if they wanted to look at football not on the field but just in general.
Right. And I can't disagree with you there. I think I'm not gonna lie, I've never been a big Alex Smith fan. I always thought he was overrated. To me, he's just never a great quarterback. And I always thought he was decent. I always thought he was pretty good. He would be one of those veteran guys you would want your young guys to learn from. But he was overhyped a lot. And I was never a fan of him. But when I saw him go down with that injury, I was sick to my stomach. I was like, this is awful. Like, you never wish anything like that on anybody in the first place. But then you see that happen. And, for as far as he came with almost, I think, after surgery, almost losing his leg because I believe one of the surgeries got infected. He almost needed to have his leg amputated. I think that was crazy. But yeah, I mean, like you said, if we're going strictly football players on the field, I think it's Cam. Off the field, I'd say Alex Smith.
Yeah, that's the only thing is that with COVID, and this is kind of what going with the Rookie of the Year thing, is just we're not seeing a lot of people play, and we're seeing people get hurt. So, like, next year, I mean, I feel like Comeback Player of the Year is going to be one of the most interesting races because everybody's hurt. I mean, like, you're talking about, I just read something that D Ford might have to face retirement, like an early retirement because his injury was that serious. Obviously, Kyle Shanahan said that's not a factor right now, but for that to even be a topic of an article tells you how bad that injury is. And you look at Saquon and what he's dealt with. Look at what, I mean, yes, I know I bring it back to Denver, but Drew Lock, he was finally getting the chance to play, and now he's hurt. I mean, basically everybody on the entire San Francisco 49ers. I mean, there's been so many injuries this year. So next year's race is going to be very intriguing. I just feel like we're not getting the chance to see players who could be in contention for this award because of COVID, because they're getting hurt, because of, now we're seeing with what COVID's doing to the, actual teams and pushing games back. So I just feel like a lot of these awards races, outside of maybe MVP, I think there's a few dark horses that could have a good season. We're only in week 4. There's just not enough people that can actually say can win that award. Right.
No, I get what you're saying. And so I'm going to kind of bring it to the NBA a little bit. We've been really focused on football right now, but I'm going to connect the two. So a lot of people, when the NBA bubble first started, and we've talked about it on this show, it's, people were saying, oh, it doesn't count, right? It's an asterisk championship for the league. It's a this, it's a that, whatever. So basically what I'm saying is, like, people are like, this is an asterisk year, and the players are like, no, it's not. And a lot of us, I think the three of us were all in agreement that it's a much harder year for players, right? And my friend Saul, I'm sure you guys remember him, brought up a good point to me the other day, that even though technically it's easier this year for players, that makes it a lot harder. And the way we kind of described it was that it might be easier for players because you don't have any distractions, right? So it's easier for them to play better. But that's what makes it harder, is that now that everyone's playing on a much higher level, it makes it that much more difficult. So it's kind of hard to explain, right? So I don't think there's an asterisk year, and I mean everybody whose team lost from the playoffs was like, the Lakers championship doesn't count, or they're saying like the Lakers championship doesn't count or whatever, which I think is kind of stupid. But
what are you talking about? Are you laughing? I'm sorry. I was reading the comments here. I'm sorry.
Oh my god.
No, I agree with you though. This isn't an asterisk year for any of the teams. Honestly though, this is a great year of sports.
I don't like that.
Tommy's like, I don't know this. Tommy's like, I don't know what you just said. So whatever.
I was listening. Don't worry.
Yeah, I don't like when people say it's an asterisk year for the NBA. Only because the bubble, COVID, not a lot of teams are playing. They only had this much sample size. I don't buy into it. Only because they had a shorter time frame to play to even get the playoffs rolling. Right, they were playing like every other day, like every team was. That's hard within itself. Then you do have the battle against COVID, so a teammate goes down because of COVID. Like Kendrick Nunn, he hasn't been able to play since yesterday because Dragic going down. Like he was not getting any time at all. So it's like they're playing against the team in front of them. They're playing against COVID-19. I don't think it's fair to say it's an actual year.
Yeah,
no, it's not.
No, sorry, you go, Jared.
Oh no, it's definitely not an asterisk year. I wasn't gonna really say much more than that. I think it's kind of silly for people to think so. And what I was trying to relate to the NFL, I don't think any of these awards are like an asterisk award for any of the players this season either. But back to the NBA, I want to give a early congrats to the Lakers for their finals win. I understand that it's entirely it's their year. So I'm proud of the Lakers. They got 2 games left. They're gonna sweep the Heat. I said they were gonna sweep the Heat from the beginning. But guys, real quick, we got some breaking news. It's time for Tommy's hot take.
All right. Miami, listen here. You're down 2-0. You just lost Goran Dragic for the whole series. Bam's coming back. It's game 3. I'm going to give you a little chicken soup for the soul here. A little inspirational quote. Page 27. With Bam Adebayo returning, thou shalt beat the Los Angeles Lakers tomorrow. Game 3, book it. They ain't getting swept. They're losing in 6. Miami, wake up. I mean, come on. Like, Kelly Olynyk dropped like 17 points the other night. You got Bam back. You can beat this team. You only lost by 10. Get some chicken soup. Get some Campbell's. Eat it up before the game. Have Mr. Spoelstra give you little stars, for every point you score or something on the little scoreboard or whatever. And win this game. Come on, make this interesting, man. This is the worst finals I've ever seen. This is 2 teams that aren't even close, bro. Like this team beat the Celtics, the Pacers, and the Bucks, and you're getting swept like this. My hot take is they're not getting swept. They're gonna lose in 6. So they win 2, and they win tomorrow. I'm telling you, they win tomorrow. Let's say they come out. Jimmy Butler drops 40, a 40 bucket, 123 to 108. Book it.
Man,
I hope
Sponsored by Chicken
so.
Soup for the Soul.
Yeah, I hope so too. I didn't even watch the game yesterday, bro.
I didn't either. I hope to God that you were right, Tommy. I never agree with your hot takes, and I hope to God you were right.
Yeah.
But
warm your heart and tickle your funny bone with these hilarious cartoons about NBA basketball. Chicken soup for the soul.
Yeah, man. I don't know. They might need a couple free cups of Jimmy's coffee or something, Martha's Secret stuff or something, man. Like,
Some Jack Daniels.
I didn't even want to watch the game. I was like, I'm not about to watch a blowout. They don't have two of their players. I'll watch the highlights. I didn't even watch the highlights yet.
You know, I'm sure you guys know, like, we're all pretty passionate about sports, and you guys know how much I like watching basketball, and it doesn't matter who's playing and how invested I'll get. I was so bored watching game one that I actually fell asleep. For me to fall asleep during a basketball game, that's impressive. It was so boring. I could not watch it. I woke up going into the fourth. I'm like, wow, the Lakers are winning 32-0. Guess I'm going back to bed. So, like, whatever. It's just okay. So I'm gonna speak from a kind of like a salty Celtics fan place real quick. Okay, and hear me out.
Jared, your Boston is showing.
Hold on. I think that it was slightly rigged for the Heat. Slightly. Not a lot. I'm not going to say a lot.
What is the scale on that? Is that like lukewarm? Or are we talking like 1 to 5 here? Like, are we talking like B-Dub's Hot Wings scale? Or are we talking like a 1 to 5 or 1 to 10 scale?
We can do like a B-Dub's Hot scale.
Ooh, sponsored by B-Dubs here. They have a new pizza flavor for their wings. Go check it out, your local B-Dubs.
That sounds good.
No, so like the reason I say that is because once the Lakers made it into the finals, there was a couple reports that came out that said they wanted to face the Heat in the finals, right? And once Game 6 started, Kemba got into very early foul trouble, which he doesn't do often. There's a war on Daniel Tice in the league. He must have had sex with every ref's wife in the entire league, and they all just hate him.
They
hate him.
He a hack. That's what he is, a hack.
Like, for whatever reason, they hate him.
Oh, man.
So,
saying that Daniel Tice is a player.
So there's like a war against Daniel Tice. He got into foul trouble. Jaylen Brown and Marcus Smart got into foul trouble late. Tice ended up fouling out. And now, granted, the Celtics lost Game 6 on their own. They were up 6 or 7 going into the fourth, and I was like, they're splitting the zone. They're going to the net. All they got to do is just keep attacking. Even with the refs going against them and calling the weak stuff, they are still winning and pulling it off. 5 minutes left in the game. Oh, we're going to jack up 11 threes and only make one of them and not stop. And I was like, well, you guys deserve to lose after that. But I do think it was slightly rigged just with the early foul troubles. That's all I'm going to say. But the Celtics... And this, I'm not talking about as a Celtics fan, this part. I'm talking about this as just somebody who's been watching the NBA. The Celtics did have a much better chance against the Lakers anyway, given the fact they met a handful of times during the regular season before. And the Celtics kind of crushed them the few times they met. So I just think the reason the Lakers came out and said that was because they wanted the easier matchup, and they ended up getting it.
Are you a Boston fan? I can't. What happens if the paint is? Are you telling me that they moved the Chiefs Patriots game back because it was rigged? Is that what you're trying to say, Jared?
No, not at all.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not 100% on board with what you're saying, but I can't say that it's not plausible because I'm like one of the people that says that the NBA is all about the narrative these days. I actually agree with that. I've been saying that for a few years now, but I don't know, bro. I can't honestly say.
I'm not saying. Listen, I'm not saying the whole series was rigged or nothing like that. I just didn't like that once that report came out, the Celtics got into super early foul trouble on a bunch of really weak calls. And, nothing was really going against the Heat in terms of foul calls. Like I said, the Celtics lost that game on their own with missing, open layups and not attacking the net late in the fourth. But I mean, that was their own fault. They were winning by doing that all,
Mhm.
even with the weak fouls and stuff. But I think it kind of contributes to it because it's the way I look at it, right? And I'll bring this back to the 2015 Super Bowl, Tommy, just for you. Uh, bad calls in any sport is what's the word I'm looking for? It's discouraging, right? Remember the pass to James Bradbury? It was like a 30-yard pass downfield, and it ended up getting called incomplete. And Ron Rivera challenged it. It was earlier in the game. I believe it was late in the first.
Bradbury's the defender, but yes, I know what pass
Oh,
you're
no.
talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, I forget who it was that got it.
Yeah, I
His
know.
name
I
began
know.
with a J.
Yeah.
But it ended up being called incomplete, and everybody, even the announcers, were like, it looked like a complete pass to everybody, and the ref just called it incomplete, and it brought 3rd and long, and that's when the strip sack for the TD ended up happening. And I think just bad calls in any sport or lack of calls is a big discouragement for any team. So I think that's what happened with the Celtics game was like those weak calls because they wanted to favor the Heat just started piling up against the Celtics, and it ended up getting too discouraging for them. Yeah. So that's why I'm saying, like, I'm not trying to say, it was rigged. They shouldn't have. You know what I mean? Like, it's nothing like that.
No, I think I get what you're saying, and I'll leave it with this: is all of these professional sports businesses, there's professional sports leagues, are businesses.
Mm-hmm.
They need to make money. So what you're pointing to, I don't agree that every sport is rigged, but I mean, is there a better narrative than one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time going out on top and retiring? I mean, is there a better narrative than LeBron wanting to face, a team that his old team, in Miami Heat in the finals? I mean, you can't really match that. So, I don't know if leagues are rigged, but I mean, come on, Vegas makes these odds for a reason, and they always seem to win, even when you're like, "There's no way this could happen."
Right.
So I mean, that's the way I look at it. It's a business for a reason. They got to make money.
The only game I can, hands down, with proof, say was rigged was the Lakers versus Sacramento Kings when the Lakers took 30 free throws in one quarter.
Yeah. Tim Donaghy.
Yeah. I think we can say that one for sure was rigged. The way they shoot 30 free throws. I mean,
no, absolutely.
One quarter.
No, listen. Okay, look. If Tommy gets to do his hot takes every episode, I get to rant about Boston sports for a minute. Because, whatever.
Hey, you're the one who made it a segment here. I'm just going with the flow, baby. That's how it works here. That's how we do it in Tommy land.
But overall, I mean, it's not unreasonable to think the Lakers are going to sweep the Heat. I hope your hot take is right. Like, I want the series to be interesting.
I think I'm 0-4 on hot takes, honestly. Maybe one of these days I'll get it right.
Oh, speaking of hot takes, so my thought, remember when I was saying I didn't think the 49ers were going to be that good this year?
Hey, man.
I didn't want it to happen like this, but I actually got to sit in on their post-game press conference when they beat the Giants, and that was pretty cool. That was a cool experience. I got to listen to Kyle Shanahan talk and Brandon Ayuk and, Nick Mullins and all those guys, and it was a pretty cool experience. I'm not going to lie. Being in that conference call.
For sure. I don't think you can take credit for that hot take, though.
Yeah.
Nobody could have predicted the whole team would be injured. I don't think.
Well, I'm not taking credit.
Meadowlands takes credit for that, or MetLife, whatever it's called now. They taking credit for that one.
See, I said, even though that was my hot take, I don't want it like this. I don't want it like this. I wanted them to all be healthy and still not do well.
Hey, but Deebo Samuel's coming back, so that's one of my favorite guys. I got mind control over Deebo, so
fair enough.
That one.
Well, guys, that brings us right about to the end of the show. Woo. So, Tommy, why don't you tell everybody where they can find you?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at TommySmith1515. I will continue to post my awful hot takes. I'm 0-4 on the series here, but maybe after tomorrow I will be 1-5. So that will look good. Yeah, I mean that's about as good as it is. You get a little mix in, you get a little mix out. Tommy's gonna hit one of these one time. So that's how we do it here in Tommyland.
And Ty, where can everybody find you?
Find me on IG at Ty_Talk Sports, Facebook at Tyrone Stallworth. Just look at this beautiful face right here. Tommy just followed me on Instagram. I feel very, humbled and, grateful that he did that. I might be a part of the cool kids now.
Ooh! Now that is a very exclusive club. Now I don't let a lot of people into that club. I'll have to check with the other members. Jared, would you allow Ty into the Cool Kids Club?
I mean, he is a Bears fan, but like you're a Broncos fan, so yeah, I'll let him in.
But I'm the leader.
Right. So
it's just us three now. That's the whole club.
Yeah.
I guess
the Trifecta Club.
Yeah. And as usual, guys, you can find me on Twitter at journalistj0. Again, don't be forgetting to check out all the great content going up on backsportspage.com daily. You can check out all the great shows on Backsports Page. Check us out on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, everywhere that there's social media. The three of us are trying to get a fun, inside look at our lives on Snapchat, but we're still working out the details on that. But yeah, again, everybody, thanks for watching, and I will see you guys next week.